So hello, today we'll learn about the term Expert Preparedness Index. If you're into UPSC and APSC preparations, then these are the very indexes. Those are very important when it comes to for preparation, because questions every now and then is asked from these indexes. So to understand what is Expert Preparedness Index, we have to know about the aim of that, to identify challenges and opportunities, enhance the effectiveness of government policies, and encourage a facilitative regulatory framework for export. The index entails 4 pillars, 11 sub-pillars, and 60 indicators. There will be 4 pillars, 11 sub-pillars, and 60 indicators. And what are those 4 pillars? First things first, policy. A comprehensive trade policy providing a strategic direction for exports and imports. Business ecosystem. Business ecosystem is that wherein an efficient business ecosystem helping states attract investments and create an enabling infrastructure for individuals to initiate startups. Export ecosystem is the third pillar. Assess the business environment which is specific to export. Export performance. This is the only output based parameter and examines the reach of export footprints of states and union territories. So coming back to the 11 sub pillars now, after having done the 4 pillars, what are the 4 pillars? 4 pillars are policy, business ecosystem, export ecosystem, and export performance. Policy, business ecosystem, export ecosystem, and export performance. Now, what are the sub-pillars? 11 sub-pillars. The index also took into consideration 11 sub-pillars: export promotion policy, institutional framework, business environment, infrastructure, transport connectivity, access to finance, export infrastructure, trade support, research and development infrastructure, export diversification, and growth orientation. These are the 11 sub-pillars that we are talking about. What are the features? Features of the Export Preparedness Index is a data-driven effort to identify the core areas crucial for export promotion of the sub-national level. It explores and highlights the India's export potential by examining the different contributions made by each state and union territories. Now, coming back to the performances of Indian states and Indian territories. Of the coastal states, Gujarat is ranked number 1. Amongst the cities and UTs, Delhi comes there. Among the landlocked states, it's Haryana, and Himalayan states, it's Uttarakhand. What is the significance? This is the most important point. Why this Export Preparedness Index is very important? Because it examines the export performance of the states and union territories. It aims to examine the export performance and the export readiness of the states and union territories. The idea behind the index is to create a benchmark to rank these states and union territories to help them individually promote a conducive export environment in the region. Helps in identifying obstacles to export. What are the obstacles? It is identified by creating an essential tool for policymakers and exporters to identify the drivers and obstacles and examine the same to strategize a viable export map for the state. A guide to the state government. This index acts as a guide to the state government to benchmark the regional performance with respect to export promotion and thus deliver key policy insights on how to improve and enhance the exports. Instill competition among states. Instill competition among states. Its primary goal is to instill competition among all Indian states, coastal, landlocked, Himalayan, and UTs and city states, to bring about favorable export promotion policies, ease the regulatory framework to prompt subnational export promotion, create a necessary infrastructure for exports, and assist in identifying strategic recommendations for improving export competitiveness. What are the challenges to Indian export? There are 3 major challenges. To Indian export: intra and inter-regional differences in export infrastructure, weak trade support and growth orientation across states, lack of R&D infrastructure to promote complex and unique exports. What UPI says about Indian exports? Export drives the Indian economy. Gross domestic product is equal to consumption plus investment plus government expenditure plus export minus imports. Thus, export is an essential component to increase the GDP values. Export is an inalienable component of Indian economic growth, as exports have been contributing roughly 20% on average to the GDP of India for the past decade. Now, since we are recovering from COVID, the COVID-19 pandemic upended the existing economic infrastructure and exposed the fragility of global trade and economy. After 2 years of the COVID-19 pandemic, the recovery of the adverse effects on economics are still far from achieved. However, India has shown great resilience in exports and achieved record high growth. India has been showing positive statistics in exports since beginning of financial year 2021-22. In December 21, India achieved the highest ever export of $37 billion, which is a 37% jump over December 2020. What are the suggestions to increase export? Number 1, export infrastructure and market concentration, need for export diversification, emphasis on free strategies, and a private sector that can also play a tremendously important role. Now this is what we learn about the express preparedness. Let's now on to the most important things about it that questions might be asked from. is what are the top performers? Well, who are the top performers of the export preparedness index? Number 1 state is Gujarat. Number 2 is Maharashtra. And number 3, Karnataka. Questions will be definitely asking which is the top performing state in the export preparedness index 2021. So answer would be Gujarat. Now the export preparedness index 2021 is prepared by Niti Aayog. It's prepared by Niti Aayog in partnership with Institute of Competitiveness. Okay, that's the lesson, guys. Thank you so much. Have a good day.